It is Wednesday, February 5. Let's hope you don't have the midweek blues. Keep it moving. Welcome back, Foxy Games UK new and existing subscribers. So it is indeed the 5th of February and no sign of a PS5 reveal or announcement of a reveal that could have been a thing, but no, still nothing. I wonder if the overzealous Push Square is going to turn into Dog the Bounty Hunter and go after all those misleading leakers and so-called insiders who claimed a PS5 event would definitely be happening today. Probably not. I'm just teasing. Anyway, here is your gaming news. So, popular long-time running game/media outlet IGN has reported Sony is apparently waiting to see what the price of the Xbox Series X will be before determining the price of the PS5. Sony has intimated it isn't totally fixed on PS5's price point, and is seemingly due really to competitor Microsoft and how it will price its next-gen platform, Xbox SX. Looks like we'll be playing a little cat and mouse here. Interestingly, Sony had its Q3 earnings call this week when the company announced PS4 had its lowest Christmas sales, period, since launch. PS4 sales are down by 2 million units compared to last year, with a total of 6.1 million PlayStation 4 units sold during Christmas 2019 compared to 8.1 million units sold over the same period in 2018. Sony CFO, that's Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki, stated he intends to ensure a smooth transition for Sony from PS4 to PS5. Now, when asked how this will be achieved, particularly in how much the cost really of it that Sony can control, well, the Sony CFO said, and here's a quote: "First, we must absolutely control the labor costs and the personnel costs. It must be controlled, and it leads to what should be recognized as a cost. We will definitely control that. And the initial ramp up, how much we can prepare initially, we will work on the production and the sales, and we will have to prepare the right volume as we launch this. What is not very clear or visible, it's because we are competing in the space. So it's very difficult to discuss anything about the price at this time. And depending on the price level, we may have to determine the promotion that we are going to deploy and how much cost we are prepared to pay. So it's a question of balance. And because it's a balancing act, it's very difficult to say anything concrete at this point in time. When I said a smooth transition, we mean that we will definitely choose the optimal approach and that we would try to have the best balance so that we will be profitable in the life during the life of this product." So Totoki notes that given PlayStation 5 is competing with the Xbox Series X, which also has yet to be given a price, it's very difficult to discuss anything in relation to price without tipping the company's hand or showing its card. Whether this means Sony will wait until Xbox announces price first or the company ultimately decides to announce its price first is unclear, but for now, the approach suggests that Sony is willing to wait on this announcement. So Totoki-san's statement also implies that the pricing, which apparently is not yet set in stone, will also factor in to the level of promotion needed to sell PS5. This echoes statements made by Sony Interactive's president and CEO Jim Ryan, who also commented on a smooth PS4 to PS5 transition. Sony will be helping its players transition to the next-gen console with PS5's backwards compatibility, allowing PS4 games to be played. Microsoft has promised a wider range of Xbox Series X backwards compatibility options, of which will be made available at launch and ready to play all Xbox One games from day one. Now, the fact that both next-gen consoles will have full backwards compatibility is really a big deal for many. Similarly, Twinfinite.com reported on something I've been saying for several months now, that Sony Interactive Entertainment will leverage its PlayStation Network and PlayStation Plus services to offset the cost of developing, producing and distributing, promoting PS5. Now, some of you may recall my main point was that Sony are now in a position to absorb a loss on each PS5 unit sold, something that was nigh on impossible with PlayStation 3 since PlayStation Network was free to use back then. Good times. And certainly revenue was nowhere near the $12.48 billion Sony Interactive Entertainment made in its last fiscal year. That's more than the Xbox division and Nintendo bought in combined. Remember all that bank Xbox Live made Microsoft during the Xbox 360 and PS3 era? Sony's like, now who's the daddy? I jest. So Sony CFO Totoki-san further commented on the last quarter's decline in PS4 sales and profit due to the upcoming generational transition. Though mid to long-term results demonstrate Sony's gaming business is steadily growing, as evidenced by the growth of network services like PlayStation Plus. Sony Interactive Entertainment expects this growth to continue going forward, and the proportion of network services revenue compared to the total it also continues to increase due to the growth in PlayStation Plus subscribers. Now, this is the key part of the statement and echoes what Foxy Games UK said last year. And I quote, Sony aims to leverage this community and network services revenue stream to effect a smooth transition from the current generation PS4 to the next PlayStation 5, and unlike the past when profitability deteriorated significantly due to the development and marketing costs. Interesting. So looking forward to the next generation launch, Sony plans to control the costs that they're working on to really produce and prepare the right volume of units for the initial ramp up. That being said, since the market is a competitive space, it's impossible to discuss price point at this time, and pricing will influence the promotion and how much Sony is prepared to spend for that. Since it's a balancing act, it's difficult to say anything concrete for now, but Totoki-san did explain that with the smooth transition, he also expects really Sony to choose the most optimal approach. Now, incidentally, most of the decline in software sales recorded in the last quarter was due to free-to-play games, while the performance of other kinds of games, both new and past releases, was essentially flat. PS4 has been a remarkable cash cow for Sony. As of January 31st, 2020, PS4 shipped 108.9 million units and has sold more than 1.18 billion units of software. Levels of success not seen since PS2, which sold a whopping 155 plus million units and around 1.6 billion units of software. Simply astonishing. So in other Sony Interactive Entertainment news, now remember a rather cryptic SIE Japan tweet I put out a few weeks ago. Now you'd be forgiven if you can't, certainly I've tweeted a lot of stuff since then, but you may recall I cryptically tweeted, "Show some love for Japan." Well, thanks to industry outlet MCV, the cat is finally out of the bag. Huge movement and shakeups are occurring right now and in preparation for PlayStation 5's launch. The director of hit PlayStation VR game Astro Bot, Nicolas Doucet, has been appointed PlayStation Japan's new studio head. The announcement, which came via a brief update of the Megacorp's website thanks to Siliconera, did not comment on the next steps of Doucet's predecessor, Alan Becker. Doucet has been with the company for years and has directed a number of notable titles, including several well-received VR games. The studio's most significant offerings include Astro Bot Rescue Mission, Knack, and its sequel Knack 2, The Playroom, and The Playroom VR. It's the latest in a number of changes in Sony's senior ranks, including the recent departure of Sony Interactive Entertainment's Worldwide Studios former chairman, Sean Layden, and PlayStation's head of global second-party games, Gio Corsi. Guerrilla's Herman Hulse was recently appointed Sony's new head of Worldwide Studios in a recent press release. Sony said Hulse's promotion was effective immediately and sees him manage and lead all game development studios across the 14 studios that form Worldwide Studios. Sony also confirmed former president of Worldwide Studios Shuhei Yoshida will leave his position, ready to head up a newly formed initiative that will focus on nurturing external independent creators, or indies. This new initiative will focus on celebrating external developers that are creating new and unexpected experiences for the gaming community, and sees Yoshida report directly to CEO Jim Ryan. We've also seen the recent departure of Sony Interactive Entertainment's Worldwide Studios Sean Layden. So a lot's happening over there. Now, Layden has not acknowledged the move on any of his public-facing social media channels. PlayStation, however, announced the news on its official PlayStation Twitter account, and there seems to be still a good relationship between Layden and the company. This news follows a sad announcement that yet another SIE UK-based studio is closing its doors. Reported by your friend of mine, Push Square, Sony shuts Manchester studio before it ships a game. Gone too soon. Sony has called time on SIE Manchester Studio before it had even had the opportunity to announce a game. The virtual reality-based studio was formed back in 2015 and was actively working on an unannounced project, but the Japanese giant has decided to part ways with the studio and gave the following justification in a very short statement. As part of our efforts to improve efficiency and operational effectiveness. That's it, literally, that's it. Now, according to GamesIndustry.biz, the entire group has been made redundant. Ouch. Now, interestingly, British developers under the PlayStation umbrella haven't had much luck in recent years, with Studio Liverpool, Guerrilla Cambridge, Big Studios, and Evolution Studios all closing over the past decade. Blood and Truth creator London Studios and Dreams maker Media Molecule remain, but it's been a rough period for the UK industry. We can't help but wonder what today's news means for PlayStation VR moving forwards. Like I said, expect a lot more closures, more layoffs, and more bad news as part of the transition to a new generation. It's really part of the whole process, and from a business perspective, it's called trimming the fat. I tweeted that many times. Naturally, we echo Push Square's sentiments and wish all those affected every success going forward. Now, in some slightly less grim news, Sony recently revealed its current gen system, PlayStation 4, has eclipsed both the original PlayStation and Nintendo Wii and makes it the second highest selling home console of all time that we knew, second only to PlayStation 2, which I say boasts 155 lifetime sales. When I say 155, add a million on the end of that. By comparison, it's estimated that Microsoft's Xbox One has sold around 41 million consoles, although the company has chosen not to formally confirm hardware sales of its current gen system. So in our final news segment then, where is the PS5 reveal announcement? Where? So many leakers and insiders were so sure about the 5th, which is today in case you just woke up from a self-induced coma, by way of an official PS5 statement taken from the Sony Interactive Entertainment website. Well, maybe this Sony statement will help explain a few things, and I quote, "We've begun to share some of the incredible features you can expect from PlayStation 5, but we're not quite ready to fully unveil the next generation of PlayStation. Sign up to receive the latest information as we announce them, including news on the PS5 release date, price, and upcoming roster of PS5 launch games. PS5 launches holiday 2020. So there it is. Sony aren't quite ready. Like I said, this is very clearly a game of cat and mouse here. Sony Interactive Entertainment knows full well how much they're likely to charge, or how much they'd like to charge you for PS5. They know when it's launching, and they seem pretty confident in their next-gen consoles lineup. So what gives? Well, Microsoft, that's what gives. Sony do not want to be beaten on price, and that is one of the key reasons PS4 trounced Xbox One. Notwithstanding the terrible Xbox One pre-launch messaging and the dreaded DRM and the over-focus on TV and Connect functionality, the price of a product is the real deciding factor for most consumers, and the PS4 came in more powerful and $100 less than its competitor. Though with both systems launching this holiday, something has got to give, so don't expect this cat and mouse game to go on for too long. But with that being said, it all leads back to shrewd business strategizing. The PS5 side is live, but Sony says it isn't quite ready to fully unveil PlayStation 5 just yet, and the wording on the site also suggests Sony plan to stagger announcements of specs, release date, price, and launch titles throughout the year, and that's where the 3 main reveal events I mentioned come into play. It's certainly all to play for. It'll just be a matter of who jumps first, Sony or Microsoft. Though what say you? Go ahead, sound off, share your thoughts and opinions on today's news, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of another video, but let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments. And for all your current and next gen news updates, rumour and rampant speculation, hit the like button, spread the word, and keep it locked to Foxy Games UK. Remember, relevant links where applicable can be found in this video's description. Subscribe to Foxy Games UK, remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss content, thumbs up if you like it here, and help us reach more like-minded gamers simply by sharing the video. Consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon, and or grab yourself a Foxy Games UK branded t-shirt or hoodie available in various colours and designs. You'll find both links in this video's description. I truly appreciate the support. But that concludes our time together on this Wednesday. It was great hanging out, and until the next video, remember, play games, not corporations.